I want to welcome Radhika. She's a trustee with CAPID, but इनका अपना foundation है जहाँ they are empowering women, create financial freedom for women, and she has done a lot of work on women-related issues. Sir, आप कहें? अच्छा. So, welcome, Radhika. I was saying I'm going to pick your brains on this, and I really am. So, when we were going through funding and various issues, मैं ये देख रही थी कि globally, less than 2% of philanthropic giving goes to women's issues.
Yeah.
So, what is this power of philanthropy in women's health? How would it help us? And not having the funding is creating what kind of barriers for us? Can you please share what your understanding is? Why is it that it is so low, and what are we missing?
Namaste, but first of all, Mridu, many congratulations.
Thank you.
And to the entire team at CAPID, I mean, you are the unsung heroes, so thank you for what you do every day. And I think the Nukkad Natak really sort of gave us a peep into all the hard work that goes in building CAPID and what we're trying to do. From my little understanding of how philanthropy works in India, especially focusing on women, it is a very long process. To build women, it just takes a little longer. And that's why you will see not many people wanting to fund this particular sector and build women, because it's not instant, right? And from all the conversation that we've been having right now, and it's taken us 11 years to reach these numbers, it just takes really long, and funders do not want to fund things that are long term. And just to build on that, Mridu, there is a slight shift. There are women philanthropists who want to fund which is something which is deep, which is long term and not short term. And they do realize that focusing on women, that's your 50% of your population, is not just a right thing to do, but it's a smart thing to do, right? There is a shift where you have younger philanthropists wanting to fund women projects. And they realize that while they might not have huge numbers, they do realize that their impact will be transformational. So that shift is happening, but it is slow and it will take a lot of time. In fact, just before I was coming here, the good news is that the next gen, 50% of wealth will be held by young women. Wow. That's the kind of shift you will see in India and globally. And you will see a huge shift in how giving is going to change, because women want to invest in purpose. Women want to build communities, and that's the way they work, right? They don't look at strategic planning and things like that, because they feel that they want the emotion there. They want compassion, and they want to work with people. So there is a very different way a male philanthropist will work and a woman philanthropist will work. There are enough studies to show that.
Wonderful. That's news for us too.
Yeah, good news.
Yeah, that's very good news. So are you saying that if we want to present to a woman philanthropist, we need to change our funding models? Do we need to address deeper and more purposeful kind of a funding model, rather than give them this 5-year plan with what's going to happen, metrics?
No, metrics is extremely important, but they want to see grassroots change, right? And this little bit of experience from the work that I do, I think mobilizing communities and building ownership is the best way to make transformation, right? While we might go around on panels and say we need to create awareness, but the awareness really needs to happen at grassroots, and people need to own it. Like just the story Dr. Ghosh said, like the mother knew that, you know, giving that polio drop is transformational, right? And the stories emerge from there. So even for CAPID, right, we need to have change makers emerging from the community, because their voice will have far more weight than any doctor trying to convince them. Agreed. That's for a fact. So agreed. Philanthropists they want to invest in change makers. They want it to be a downward, like upward push, rather than coming from top. That's the kind of impact they want to create.
that's good news for us, all of us working in women issues, right? That we'll have more women philanthropists. But like I was saying, that when we went to corporate and we are women educated and empowered, and we spoke to them about cervical cancer awareness, we couldn't move that. We still couldn't get them. So what do you think comes in the way there? When they have agency, when they have financial freedom and they are educated, what else comes in the way of them coming
Can
forward?
I talk like a true feminist?
Please do.
Oh, the way we bring up our women and our girls, it's systemic change. It's not as simple as it sounds, right? You might be educated, you might have financial independence, but what is the way you think about yourself and how you perceive yourself, right? And that's where CAPIT, that's why it is slow, it's long term, it is systemic, it is breaking patriarchy trends, right? And women do not take their health seriously, right? It's because the environment doesn't encourage them, right? Do our homes talk to our women and say your health is important? Why don't you just sit, don't cook, because I will step in and I will be the caregiver, right? Do men do that? No, they don't, right? So it is not, women issues are so complex and it is not so easy to solve. So many conversation, many awareness programs, many women philanthropists stepping in and putting money for women causes is the shift that we need to see. Women don't, even I know so many
I relate to that
we are
completely.
educated, right? We consider ourselves educated.
Absolutely.
But I have so many friends who haven't given the HPV vaccination. They can afford to give HPV vaccine. It is expensive right now, right? They can afford to give it, but they choose not to give it. I do not understand why. I just do not understand why it is not something important. And I think mums play a very, very important role, right? We women play a very important role at home. It is mindset, Mridu, unfortunately. And in that systemic change will take us many generations, like many generations.
So you're saying we go and we give awareness and we expect change, and that's not going to happen. It needs to be more.
You have to keep going back. You have to build the community and they have to own it. Any change has to be owned by the community. You're an outsider. You have to empower them to take ownership of that change.
So that's another layer that we need to add. We do awareness and we chalk it down to awareness done, right?
Awareness is a very much simple. Don't just go with the screening. Unless you, even the male, I mean not just, even the male also, when you say cancer screening, no one will come.
Yeah.
Even the tobacco, the males also will not come.
They'll not come.
It's not about men empowerment or something.
Okay. Awareness is not enough. What she's talking about is creating change in women is to change a whole different mindset and the whole systemic, but you're saying even in men, it will be a challenge.
Fear factor.
Fear of cancer. Correct.
Psychosis, I mean the word, like we can say health promotion rather than using a cancer word.
Yeah.
And even an educated person, no, I'm fine.
We also get,
So, I have heard that before and I've heard that from clinicians and others, but I always tell them that how are you creating cancer awareness if you don't use the word cancer?
No, take that opportunity, then you create the awareness.
So just to share with everybody, when we were in the field and we did a health camp and 2 women were suspected, the village had this feeling कि अरे हम तो ऐसे ही जांच कराने गए और 2 कैंसर निकल गए. But when we do a cancer screening, when we say that we've come for a cancer screening, तो 100 women आती हैं, उसमें से 2 निकलते हैं, they are not shocked. They were expecting कि 100 लोग जा रहे हैं, कैंसर पता नहीं कितना निकलेगा, 2 ही निकले, तो वो ठीक था. It's like a perception change when you know that you're going already in fear कि हम कैंसर की जांच कराने जा रहे हैं. And we go into the village and say कि कैंसर तो prevent हो सकता है, तो हम तो कैंसर prevent करने के लिए आपको बताने के लिए आ रहे हैं कि कैंसर की रोकथाम. Somehow, I do believe that we have to be transparent, but yes, this fear of it reduces the screening. So, along with the mindset and the whole systemic change, there is also fear that we are dealing with when we are going out there to speak with them. So, we are only tackling one end of it, not the other.
And also accessibility, like if I have cancer, right?
What do I do?
Whereas it's so expensive, right? So there are a lot of things that come with it. And also just to talk about women, right? And girls. When menstrual hygiene still continues to be the biggest challenge India faces, cervical cancer is something that
Yeah.
is not going to be even something that they're going to look at. When education of young women is not a priority, what are we talking? So, right, so there are a lot of underlying issues that first need to be addressed, cervical cancer going along with it, right?
Yeah.
So, I think it's a great space where the video that we just saw, it's an amazing, it should actually go viral. It should actually go absolutely viral. And the young gen is on Instagram, right? So this
Yeah.
is the way that we should be reaching out with these information, short 50-second reels that sort of captures the, the audience, yeah.
Wonderful. So, no, just one last one. So, what do you think the future of women philanthropy looks like?
I think focused on depth, focus on transformation, and I think focus on listening to the people that you're working for. I think women philanthropists want to know more, and they want to be more involved. They just don't want to be people who are just cutting
Donors.
checks. They want to be involved, they want to know, they want to interact, and I think that shift is so important. Like we were talking about, the ability to listen, and I think women philanthropists bring that. They want to be connected, they want to know, and they want to be part of the solution building. They don't want to be they want to be involved and give suggestions. So I think you will see a lot of change how this is going to come up, hopefully, in India.
Wonderful. And we're looking at like how many years are we looking at down the road? Will we still
I think
be
another 5-6 years, a lot of young girls are going to come into a lot of capital.
This is my last innings, but I'm sure we can build enough momentum that it will continue to build from there.
Yeah.
Thank you for this,
Thank
Radhika.
you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you.